They tried to break you. They thought they could stop your rise. But what they didn't know is that they were picking the wrong person. Every move they made, every attack they launched, only made you stronger. They couldn't see the power within you, the strength that was quietly building. They underestimated your resilience, your will to rise above their negativity. Now, while their plans crumble and their envy eats them up, you stand tall, unstoppable. This is the story of how the jealous ones targeted the wrong person, how they failed, and how you turned their hatred into your greatest victory. Keep watching, because what happens next will change everything. A lot of us have faced situations where people doubted us, underestimated our abilities, or even actively tried to bring us down. Whether it's a colleague who feels threatened by your success, a friend who resents your growth, or even family members who don't support your dreams, it can be tough. These experiences leave scars, but they also reveal something powerful: your strength. The problem is that many people don't realize how far their jealousy can go, or how much damage they can cause when they target someone they think is less than them. But the truth is, they often pick the wrong person. This video will dive into how these jealous individuals fail to see your potential and how their actions might actually push you to greater heights. You'll learn how to harness the very negativity they throw at you, using it as fuel to grow stronger. We'll talk about why your journey isn't defined by their opinions and how you can keep rising no matter the obstacles they put in your way. We'll cover practical steps for dealing with envy and real-world examples of people who turn their challenges into triumphs, showing you that their attacks can't stop your progress. Emotional intelligence, EQ, is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions, while also being able to recognize and influence the emotions of others. It goes beyond just understanding feelings. It's about using that awareness to build stronger relationships, make better decisions, and handle difficult situations with grace. People with high EQ can stay calm under pressure, empathize with others, and resolve conflicts more effectively. Why does EQ matter so much? Well, studies show that EQ is a better predictor of success than IQ. It's not just about how smart you are, but how well you manage emotions, both yours and others. For example, in the workplace, someone with high EQ is more likely to be a strong leader, build a supportive team, and navigate challenges with ease. It helps you stay motivated even when faced with setbacks, and it gives you the tools to connect with others on a deeper level. What makes EQ different from IQ? While IQ measures your ability to solve problems, think logically, and process information, EQ is more about emotional awareness and social skills. You can be brilliant in terms of logic and problem solving, high IQ. But without emotional intelligence, you might struggle to connect with others, handle stress, or work effectively in teams. Imagine a talented individual who can't handle criticism or struggles to empathize with their colleagues. That's where EQ comes in. It helps bridge the gap between cognitive ability and social effectiveness. In essence, EQ can make the difference between simply being good at what you do and being great at working with people and leading others. Self-awareness is the foundation of emotional intelligence. It's about understanding your emotions, what triggers them, how they affect your thoughts and behaviors, and how to use that insight to make better choices. When you're self-aware, you can spot emotional patterns and recognize when you're feeling stressed, angry, happy, or overwhelmed. This awareness allows you to pause, reflect, and decide how you want to respond, instead of reacting impulsively. Consider a situation at work where you're faced with criticism from a colleague. A self-aware person would notice the immediate feeling of defensiveness or frustration. Instead of letting that emotion dictate their response, they would recognize it, take a moment to breathe, and respond calmly and constructively. This helps prevent conflicts and encourages healthier communication. Being self-aware also means understanding the deeper layers of your emotions. For example, you might feel irritated because of a small inconvenience, But through self-awareness, you realize that your frustration is actually tied to stress from an unrelated issue. By identifying the root cause, you can address the real issue rather than misdirecting your emotions. This can help you stay more in control, especially in challenging situations. A practical way to improve self-awareness is through regular reflection. Take a few minutes each day to check in with yourself. How are you feeling? Why? What do you need right now? Journaling is another great tool for this, as it gives you a chance to track your emotions and uncover patterns over time. When you have a strong sense of self-awareness, you not only understand yourself better, but you also set the stage for all other pillars of emotional intelligence to grow: self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. Emotional intelligence, EQ, is a game changer because it shapes how we connect with others and navigate our personal and professional lives. At its core, EQ helps us understand and manage our emotions, which in turn helps us relate to others in a healthier, more effective way. In personal relationships, EQ plays a vital role. It allows us to recognize when we're feeling angry or upset, and helps us process those emotions before reacting. For example, when a close friend says something hurtful, a person with high EQ doesn't immediately retaliate. Instead, they pause, assess the situation, and respond in a way that is thoughtful and respectful. This leads to stronger, more lasting relationships because communication is rooted in empathy and understanding. Studies show that couples with higher emotional intelligence tend to have better communication, fewer conflicts, and greater satisfaction in their relationships. On the professional front, EQ is just as powerful. Leaders with high emotional intelligence can inspire and motivate their teams by understanding their needs, recognizing their strengths, and addressing their concerns. This creates an environment of trust and collaboration, which boosts productivity and morale. For example, a manager who notices a team member struggling may take the time to offer support or adjust expectations, which can prevent burnout and enhance performance. Similarly, when leaders can read the emotional climate of a room, they can make more informed decisions, respond to conflicts effectively, and steer their teams through challenges with confidence. There's solid scientific backing for the benefits of EQ. Research from the American Psychological Association shows that individuals with high EQ are more likely to succeed in both their personal lives and careers. A study by TalentSmart found that EQ is responsible for 58% of job performance across all industries. People with higher EQs have been shown to be better leaders, more effective communicators, and more resilient in the face of stress. By recognizing and managing our emotions, we not only improve our relationships, but also open the door to greater opportunities and success in every aspect of life. Self-awareness is the ability to recognize and understand your emotions, thoughts, and behaviors. It's about being in tune with your internal world, knowing why you feel a certain way, and understanding how those emotions impact your actions. For example, you might notice that you feel anxious every time you have a big presentation at work. Understanding this reaction allows you to manage your anxiety, whether through deep breathing, preparation, or reframing negative thoughts. Developing self-awareness can dramatically improve your emotional intelligence and your relationships with others. It helps you identify patterns in your behavior, such as getting frustrated easily during disagreements or withdrawing when you feel overwhelmed. By being aware of these tendencies, you can start to change them. One simple way to practice self-awareness is through journaling. Each day, take a few minutes to write about your experiences, focusing on how you felt during certain moments. Did you get upset when a colleague interrupted you in a meeting? How did you respond, and why do you think you felt that way? Journaling helps you reflect on your emotional reactions, which is key to understanding them better. Mindfulness is another great tool. Mindfulness practices, such as meditation or mindful breathing, help you stay present and become more aware of your thoughts and emotions as they arise. By observing your feelings without judgment, you can gain a clearer sense of why you react the way you do in various situations. However, building self-awareness isn't always easy. Many people avoid facing their emotions because it can feel uncomfortable or even painful. You might find it difficult to accept that you have certain emotional triggers, or you may feel defensive when someone points out your weaknesses. But pushing through these discomforts is part of the growth process. The more you practice being aware of your emotions, the easier it becomes to understand and control them, ultimately leading to better decision-making and healthier relationships. Self-regulation is the ability to manage your emotions, especially in challenging or stressful situations. It's about staying calm and composed, even when things aren't going as planned, or when you feel overwhelmed. Imagine you're in a heated argument with a friend or colleague. Instead of reacting impulsively, you take a moment to breathe, pause, and think through your response. This ability to control your emotions helps prevent rash decisions and reduces the chance of saying or doing something you'll later regret. One of the most effective strategies for self-regulation is deep breathing. When you're feeling anxious or angry, slowing down your breath can immediately help calm your nervous system. For instance, practicing the 4-7-8 breathing technique, inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, then exhale for 8, helps reduce stress and regain control of your emotions. This simple practice can make a huge difference, whether you're facing a challenging conversation or trying to stay focused on a big project. Another key strategy is reframing your thoughts. This involves changing the way you view a situation. For example, if you receive critical feedback at work, instead of feeling defensive or upset, you could reframe it as an opportunity to improve. By shifting your perspective, you stop your emotions from taking over and start thinking more rationally. Taking breaks is another powerful tool for self-regulation. Sometimes, when emotions are running high, stepping away from the situation can give you the space to reset. A quick walk outside or a moment of silence can help you return to the situation with a clearer mind. When you practice self-regulation, it not only helps you stay calm in the moment, but also influences your decision-making in both personal and professional settings. People who are good at regulating their emotions tend to make more thoughtful, well-informed choices. In high-stress situations, such as during a job interview or while managing a crisis at work, emotional control can lead to better outcomes because you're making decisions based on logic, not emotion. This skill is key to building trust and fostering positive relationships both at home and in the workplace. Motivation is the driving force that pushes us to take action, and it's deeply connected to our emotions. Think about a time when you felt excited to achieve something, perhaps a promotion, a personal goal, or even finishing a project you were passionate about. That excitement, that emotional spark, is what fuels your motivation to keep going, even when obstacles arise. When emotions are harnessed correctly, they become a powerful engine for achieving goals. There are two main types of motivation: intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic motivation comes from within. It's when you're driven by personal satisfaction or the love of an activity. For example, if you write because you enjoy expressing yourself, you're intrinsically motivated. On the other hand, extrinsic motivation is driven by outside rewards such as money, recognition, or approval. A student studying hard to get good grades is an example of extrinsic motivation. While both types of motivation are important, intrinsic motivation tends to be more sustainable. When you're motivated by something you truly care about, you're more likely to stay focused and persistent, even in the face of setbacks. Extrinsic motivation, while effective in the short term, can fade if the reward isn't as fulfilling as expected. Staying motivated, especially when faced with challenges, can be tough, but it's possible to turn your emotions into fuel. One way is to remind yourself of your why, the emotional reason behind your goal. If you're working hard for a promotion, think about how achieving that goal will improve your life, bring you closer to your aspirations, or create more stability for your family. Tapping into the emotional aspect of your goal can help reignite your passion when things get tough. Another tip is to break big tasks into smaller, manageable steps. Celebrate each small win along the way. These moments of progress help keep your emotional drive alive, giving you the energy to push through the tougher times. Empathy is often misunderstood as simply feeling sorry for someone, but it's much deeper than sympathy. While sympathy is about feeling pity for someone else's struggles, empathy is about truly understanding their emotions and experiences. It's the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes and feel what they feel, without judgment or dismissal. Imagine you have a friend who's going through a tough breakup. Empathy isn't just saying, "I'm sorry you're hurting," but actively listening to them, acknowledging their pain and showing that you understand how difficult this is for them. In relationships, whether personal or professional, empathy creates a solid foundation of trust and connection. When people feel understood, they are more likely to open up and communicate honestly. This is especially true in the workplace, where empathy can foster collaboration, reduce conflict, and promote a positive atmosphere. Leaders who practice empathy create teams that feel valued, leading to higher morale and productivity. Think of a boss who listens to their employees' concerns, offering support when needed. That empathy turns into loyalty and respect. Empathy also strengthens personal relationships. In romantic partnerships or friendships, when one person demonstrates understanding and care for the other's feelings, it deepens the bond. For example, when your partner comes home stressed after a long day, instead of offering solutions right away, you might listen to their frustrations, acknowledging their feelings before offering advice. This simple act of listening and validating their emotions builds a stronger emotional connection. To develop empathy, start by practicing active listening. This means giving your full attention to the speaker, not interrupting, and reflecting back what you've heard. Another powerful tool is perspective taking, imagining yourself in the other person's situation. Ask yourself, how would I feel if I were in their shoes? This shift in mindset helps you understand others' actions and emotions more deeply, fostering meaningful connections. Effective communication is at the heart of every healthy relationship. It's not just about talking, but truly listening and understanding what others are saying. Imagine trying to share something important with a friend, but they're distracted or not paying attention. You'd likely feel frustrated or disconnected. Now, think of a time when someone really listened to you, when they made eye contact, nodded, and responded thoughtfully. That simple act of truly being heard can deepen the connection and trust between two people. In any relationship, especially when conflicts arise, how you communicate can make all the difference. Instead of raising your voice or blaming the other person, using I statements helps express your feelings without sounding accusatory. For example, saying, "I feel hurt when I'm not included in decisions," is far more constructive than "you never ask for my opinion." This way, the conversation focuses on how you feel rather than attacking the other person. Conflict resolution is not about winning the argument, but finding common ground where both sides feel understood. Building trust takes time and consistency. It's about showing up for people, keeping promises, and being reliable. In personal relationships, trust is built through shared experiences, like showing up on time or supporting each other during difficult times. In professional settings, trust is often built by demonstrating competence, keeping confidential information private, and being transparent in your actions. Trust can be easily broken, but once lost, it's challenging to rebuild. That's why it's important to be patient and consistent in your actions. In both personal and professional relationships, these elements of communication, conflict resolution, and trust help create a foundation of respect, understanding, and reliability that makes the relationship stronger and more fulfilling over time. Building emotional intelligence, EQ, is crucial for personal growth and success. but it often comes with its own set of challenges. One major obstacle is a lack of self-awareness. Many of us go through life on autopilot, reacting to situations without understanding why we feel or behave the way we do. This lack of reflection can prevent us from improving our emotional responses and connecting with others on a deeper level. For instance, if you've ever found yourself snapping at someone and later wondering why, it's likely that your emotions were not properly understood or managed. Another barrier is emotional repression. In many cultures, expressing emotions is seen as a weakness, leading people to suppress their feelings. Over time, this can create emotional blockages, making it harder to understand and regulate emotions. If you've ever felt disconnected or unable to communicate your feelings, you may have experienced the effects of emotional repression. It's important to recognize that emotions are not the enemy. They are vital signals that guide our decisions and behaviors. Fear of vulnerability is also a major roadblock to developing EQ. Opening up to others requires courage, but many people fear being judged or misunderstood. Vulnerability is often viewed as exposing weaknesses, but in reality, it's a strength that fosters trust and deepens connections. To overcome these barriers, start by practicing mindfulness. Take time to reflect on your emotions daily and be open to feeling them without judgment. Journaling can help you explore your emotional triggers, while talking openly with trusted friends or a therapist can provide clarity and support. Remember, building emotional intelligence takes consistent practice. It's not something that happens overnight, but with dedication and self-compassion, the growth is undeniable. The key is not to give up, even when it feels difficult. Keep working on becoming more emotionally aware, and you'll see the positive effects ripple through your relationships and life. One powerful example of emotional intelligence, EQ, in action is the story of Howard Schultz, the former CEO of Starbucks. Schultz grew up in a working-class neighborhood in Brooklyn and often faced adversity. He attributes much of his success to his ability to empathize with others and understand their emotions. A turning point in his career came when he decided to close all Starbucks stores for a day to conduct sensitivity training after a racial bias incident. Rather than responding with anger or defensiveness, Schultz used his emotional awareness to recognize the need for change and to address the issue in a way that could promote healing and learning. His emotional intelligence allowed him to not only protect the company's reputation, but also build a stronger, more compassionate corporate culture. Another inspiring example is Oprah Winfrey, whose emotional intelligence has been a cornerstone of her success. Oprah is known for her deep empathy and understanding of the people she interviews, making her talk show a space where guests feel heard and respected. She has the rare ability to connect with people from all walks of life, creating a sense of trust and vulnerability. Her success is deeply tied to her ability to read emotions and adapt to them, whether she's interviewing a celebrity or a regular person with a powerful story to tell. Oprah's emotional intelligence helps her maintain authentic connections with her audience, creating lasting bonds and trust. Nelson Mandela, too, is another example of a leader who exemplified emotional intelligence. Throughout his long fight against apartheid, he demonstrated patience, empathy, and a deep understanding of human emotions. Instead of responding to hostility with anger, Mandela focused on reconciliation and healing, ultimately uniting a divided nation. His emotional intelligence helped him navigate complex political landscapes and lead with compassion and wisdom. These examples show that EQ isn't just about understanding emotions, it's about using that understanding to build stronger relationships, influence positive change, and lead effectively. One of the most practical ways to cultivate emotional intelligence, EQ, is by developing habits that keep you connected to your emotions and the emotions of others. Daily practices like mindfulness are an excellent way to start. Taking just 5 to 10 minutes each day to focus on your breath, calm your mind, and check in with your feelings can help you better understand your emotional state. This practice allows you to react more thoughtfully instead of being driven by impulses. Over time, you'll build emotional awareness, an essential element of EQ. Another useful habit is reflection. Spend a few minutes each evening reflecting on how you felt during the day. What triggered your emotions? How did you respond? Were there moments when you felt empathy for others? This kind of self-awareness will help you recognize emotional patterns and areas where you can improve. The more you reflect, the more you'll start to notice small things that influence your emotions, allowing you to be more present in the moment and better equipped to manage your reactions. In addition to daily habits, continual learning is key. Books like Emotional Intelligence 2.0 by Travis Bradberry and Gene Greaves, or Daniel Goleman's Emotional Intelligence, offer a deep dive into the science and practice of EQ. Podcasts like the Emotional Intelligence Network or The Art of Charm explore EQ in everyday life and leadership. These resources provide both foundational knowledge and actionable tips that you can apply to your personal and professional life. Feedback is another powerful tool for improving EQ. Ask trusted friends, colleagues, or mentors how they perceive your emotional reactions. Their insights can help you identify blind spots you may not be aware of. For example, you might think you're being patient, but someone else might see your impatience in certain situations. This feedback helps you grow and become more emotionally attuned to others. By consistently practicing these habits, you'll naturally improve your emotional intelligence, enhancing your relationships, communication, and ability to navigate life's challenges with greater ease. A key aspect of emotional intelligence, EQ, is understanding how emotions impact your decision-making. Emotions often drive how we act, even when we don't realize it. For example, have you ever made a quick decision out of frustration only to regret it later? Or felt overly excited and made a bold move that didn't turn out well? These are common emotional reactions that can cloud judgment. Being aware of your emotions and their influence on your decisions is a huge advantage. It helps you pause and reflect before acting. For instance, if you're feeling anxious before a big meeting, take a moment to breathe and check in with yourself. Ask, what is this anxiety telling me? It might be a sign to prepare more, or it could just be nerves. This self-awareness helps you make choices that align with your values, rather than reacting out of fear, anger, or stress. In practice, the more you can pause and observe your emotions, the clearer your decisions become. For example, if you're frustrated with a colleague, instead of snapping at them, you might take a deep breath and approach the situation with empathy, leading to better outcomes for both of you. This is emotional intelligence in action, using emotions as a guide, not a trigger. By understanding the power of emotional intelligence, you can make better decisions, strengthen relationships, and unlock your true potential. Recognize and manage your emotions to create a life of purpose and clarity.